Take a moment to peek into the lives of inspirational people living the true definition of happiness with author, presenter, personal stylist and coach Moana Robinson, who chats to people who have overcome challenges to live their best life. Moana is a passion and purpose coach and a personal stylist who empowers others to discover their best life and style regardless of age. Here is Moana.
It's Moana Robinson here, and I am taking a moment with Faizey Greaves, who I've known for quite a number of years. She is a very, very inspiring person, a dear friend, and she has had a very, very interesting life. Welcome to Take a Moment, Faizey.
Thank you, Moana, and thank you for that lovely introduction.
I'd like you just to, in your own words, also introduce your business to the listeners and also how you came about doing what you're doing at the moment. So I know that you've got two businesses, haven't you?
I do. I love what I do now. I do have the two businesses. I've been in one business for about almost 30 years now, I think. But my new business, which is what I'm doing now, my practicing business as well now, is life coaching, transformation of your life. And the reason I came to this was I went through a really, I'd call it uncomfortable state in my life when I was in my early 60s through the workforce. And that's what caused me to go into coaching. And I love coaching because I've lived it myself, and I've gone through the challenges that I went through. And the more I talk to people, particularly women, although I've had a couple of male clients that I've coached, but a lot of the women have gone through, or have been through the same challenges that I have experienced. So I feel I can help them because I've walked the journey with them as well. And that's what made me become a life coach. So what I do is I help people to identify their limiting beliefs and what's holding them back from moving forward in their lives and becoming this beautiful person that they deserve to be. Because we all have inner beauty within us, and sometimes we push it down so that we are always helping others, but we forget to help ourselves first. So I went through a lot of that when I was pushed out of the workforce when I was 63, and I went through a whole year of really hitting rock bottom. Didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to face anybody. I lost my self-worth. I lost my enthusiasm to living. I wanted to just let it go. It was just really, really hard. And I didn't know how to get out of it. And then one day my girlfriend said, come on, get out of this. You've got to get out. That's when I reconnected with you as well. And my girlfriend said, you've got to go to this meeting. You know this lady, you know this Moana, don't you? And I said, of course I do know Moana. But what am I going to say? I have nothing to do. I've got nothing to say. I don't know where I'm at. And she said, well, it's a first step for you. And so I did come to your first meeting, which was TOT. And from there, it was like a light bulb. It was difficult, I can tell you. It was difficult to get out of bed. I didn't want to get dressed. I looked at my wardrobe and I went, these are excuses. I don't have anything to wear. What are they going to think of me? Who's going to be there? I don't know anyone. All these, the brain, I call them itty shitty committee in my head, and my shoulders were around me. But as soon as I got there and I met you again, and I reconnected with you, and the meetings really helped me. So it was great for me to start getting out of bed. So I had at least once a week, I was comfortable to get out of bed. I had a purpose. And then I met Andrew, as you know, and I decided to do his coaching, do his course, and I now I just love it. I can't believe it when I think of it. Sometimes I look at my life and I go, wow, you've been through a lot in your life, but I think this was a massive, one of my big challenges is overcoming the fear of moving forward and overcoming the fear of change. So the change for me was massive because I went from being employed and not being valued and everything to now realizing how much I can offer other people to make that change. And change is difficult. Sometimes it's more comfortable to sit. It's change of getting out of a bad relationship, change of getting out of a job that's not healthy for you. A change of moving forward. It is scary. It's really scary. You look at it and you go, what's going to happen? It's like you're walking into a jungle. It feels like that when you're in that mess. But I love helping people get out of that mess themselves, like I did.
As you took one step at a time and you were consistent. I think our meetings were consistent. Did you find that helped you a lot, having the consistency of every week instead of maybe every second week or every 3 weeks or once a month? Was it better to come every week?
It was definitely better to come every week. And by coming every week, you build a connection with the people as well. And I think that's what makes the connection stronger as well. And even with my coaching, when they first start my program, I always encourage them, if they can manage to do it weekly for at least 4 or 5 weeks to start, because it just takes that time for them to feel comfortable with me, for me feel comfortable with them, for them so building a relationship, so trusting. So I think the weekly is so important because it keeps you accountable. And that's what I loved about it too. And meeting the same people as well, and then getting the 1 or 2 new people coming in, it just kept it fresh. It kept it alive. So yeah, that was very important. Yeah.
I think it is important. And you say that change is sometimes uncomfortable, and having consistency, sometimes with a few changes, like you were saying, new people coming along and meeting new people, you have that consistency, but then you have change in a more comfortable way, because everybody has change in their life, don't they?
Yes.
And you have told me before about when I think, were you a child or a teenager when you first came to Australia? So you've had a lot of experience behind you. I love your accent too. I love your accent and your colours, and you've got beautiful skin. And I always find it quite exotic when people come from countries like you've come from. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I was born in Ghana in West Africa, and we had to leave the country when I was 19. So that was in 1970. And my dad had to run out of the country for political reasons. He had to get out by the end of June. So he left me. I was the oldest, and I come from siblings, 7 children. So 2 of them had already left and they were studying, and actually they were here in Australia. And so Dad had 4 of us still left in Ghana. So he had my sister, myself, and 2 younger brothers, but I was the oldest. So Mum took my younger sister and the baby. My youngest brother was only about 12 months old. So they came in a different route. So I followed Dad with my second brother. He was 14 and I was 19. Oh, the challenges was crazy. I've never been in a plane. I've never flown until I was 9. We did when I was little, but I didn't remember them. But at 19, I was moving countries with my younger brother. Dad had already left, so I didn't even have an adult with me. And we landed in Nigeria, and just walking into the tarmac there was frightening. I was so afraid to miss the flight because I wanted to make sure we reconnected as a family again. Anyway, got to Lebanon and met Dad again there. And then in Lebanon, an issue happened and I lost my passport. One of the staff members took my passport, didn't return it to me. And I wasn't even aware because I'd never traveled before. When we come to leave Lebanon to come to Australia and found that I didn't have my passport, my poor dad had to go through many hoops to get my passport back. So anyway, we eventually got on the plane and I wasn't aware that dad was getting ill because he had so much stress. It shows you how stress can really affect your health. And he had so much stress worrying about taking his children to a safer country because we were not safe in that country. And we get in the plane and he started to really get unwell. And when we landed in India, get out of the flight from Lebanon to India, and he couldn't move. He couldn't walk, he couldn't move. And I said, no, you're not. He said, I can't move. And I was so afraid because, again, lack of experience. I was so afraid to tell the hostesses, and I'm talking 50 odd years ago, where you walked the tarmac to get to the airport. You walked back to the plane. So I physically, my brother and I physically held dad up with all our luggage, no support. And I wasn't going to say anything to the hostesses in case they realized he was unwell and we weren't going to be able to get back on flight. And I didn't want that happen because what would I do? There was no mobiles, there was no communication, anything like that. Anyway, we carried him physically to the airport. He sat on the chair and he couldn't move. 4 hours in Delhi, didn't know the language. We even to go to the toilet was frightening because I was afraid to leave dad and go to the toilet, and my younger brother. I felt this burden of having to carry all that. As I guess now it's different maybe, but in those days as a 19-year-old was very traumatic. So anyway, eventually when we got back to getting on the flight, he did the same. He couldn't walk. So I was carrying him. And then in those days, we used to wear stockings that we used to wear with the garters.
Oh, yep.
Not the full-on stockings. I was told that, Mom said, oh, you've got to wear stockings in a flight. You can't. Anyway, I was walking down the tarmac. The stockings are falling down. The feeling of what do I do? Do I hang on to dad? Do I walk with the stockings down by my ankles? I didn't even think I could do it.
Yeah.
But we got back on the flight, got in the plane, and again he was starting to. He had emphysema, and we went away. Again, I was afraid to ask them for any oxygen or anything like that. We made it to Australia. We got to Coolangatta Airport, and my dad said, thank God I've got you in the safe country. Was very isolated in those days. The buildings was hardly anything but just this long journey. And I got to surface and I went, thank God we are here. And I saw my mom and my sister and my brother. I went, okay, Dad, it's okay now. You can get sick. He did 2 days. We had to rush him to hospital, to Southport Hospital, because he had emphysema and the doctors didn't think he was going to make it. But he did. He also was pushing himself until we landed, and then he knew that we were all safe. That's when he, how sometimes you're working hard all the year round and you have holidays and you get sick. So I think that's what he did. I think him dropping the bundle, knowing that we're all going to be okay, he got sick. So that was an experience.
Yes, gosh. Well, with coaching, they talk about the hero's journey. Well, that's one of your hero journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like that.
Do you believe that experiences like that contribute to strength and resilience?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. Sometimes in my coaching, I come across sometimes experiences really scares a lot of people and it holds them back. Sometimes they don't get out of that experience. But for me, it did make me who I became. Yeah. Because I learned from every every experience in our lives, we learn something. And I think it makes us stronger. If it doesn't, there's a saying, I'm not very good with the sayings, but it's something like, if it doesn't break you, it makes you stronger. So
if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
It makes you stronger. Yeah. So I believe, and for me, myself, all my experiences made me stronger. And I've always been that kind of person. I do look at the brighter side of things. But like I said, the worst one I was sideswiped in my last job before I became a coach. And then at 60, in my early 60s, you're looking at yourself, you're going, who would employ me now? How can I get out of this? But retraining myself was also a big challenge as well. Even when I was doing the course with Andrew, to go there and there's all these younger people, I'm going, how can I do that? How can I compete with them? But I've come a long way and I'm very proud of me.
Proud of you too. You turned up every week at that meeting. Is there any advice that you could give to someone who's maybe feeling like you did when you lost your job and feeling a bit lost and hopeless and didn't see a purpose in life at all?
The advice I'd give is that there is always help out there. One is to have the courage to identify that you need the help. I think the most important thing, sometimes we don't identify that and we don't realize we need help. And we go, some people go into substance abuse, and it could be even not eating, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol. So it's a form of hiding behind something. Most important thing is identify, I have an issue, or something is not right, or something is not comfortable with me. And when you identify that, then your mind goes, all right, I need to do something about that. And do something about it, and be consistent. Find something that would be comfortable with you. Find a coach. I think coaches are amazing, where you feel comfortable with them. You feel you can connect with them. You feel you can trust them. And once you find that, then work with that. I think I did that in the beginning. I did try different things because, again, my mind was lost and I was lost. But what I ended up, after 12 months of doing that, is when I went, no, that's not helping me because I'm still lost. So what really resonated for me, I followed and I persisted and I was consistent in working with it. And I think, yes, reach out for help. Identifying is the first thing. To reach out for help and follow it up, and give it time. Sometimes it doesn't happen just one session or overnight. It will happen, but you need to be consistent and consistently. And that's what I loved about the weekly ones, because they were consistent. I knew that I had somewhere to go, and I knew I wanted to go, and I looked forward to it. The ladies that I built a relationship with, and then knew that there might be one or two new people coming. Yeah, I did. I didn't miss I don't think I missed a meeting for almost until COVID hit.
No, you didn't. You turned up and you had the longest drive out of everyone, I think, that came consistently. There were some that came who were local to the Gold Coast, but you drove from Brisbane every week, even on those really hot days, and we were cramped in that small room. So that's why I say that I really saw you blossom, and that consistency and reaching out and getting coaching and making the connection with Andrew. I really, really admire what you've done. I know that you've got lots of people that you love, including your gorgeous grandson, Hugo.
Family is the most important thing in my life, as you know. I love my family. And I know without them, I probably couldn't be where I am as well, because they have supported me as well. So family love is really important. If you don't have family close by, or you unfortunately don't have the connection with family, find a good friend. You do need that connection with someone, and find one or two. And you know what? Girlfriends are just as important as a loving family as well.
Yeah.
And for me now, my passion now is how many people can I touch their lives to change it for them. I don't do the change. I work with them to change their lives. And when I see, I believe always that if you can help one person, you can help a child from being bullied. You can help a woman getting out of an awful situation. You can help one person at a time. You've done a great job. I'd love to help more. I would love to reach out to a lot more people out there that need it, because at the moment, a lot of things that are really troubling us, and it would be lovely to help them. So my passion is really still help us support people as much as I can, particularly women. For some reason, we seem to carry, men deal with things differently. But women carry a lot. We don't realize that. And we don't, if you sit down and ask a woman, what's your daily, what do you do for a day? I tell you, you would be shocked to see how much she gets done in a day.
I know. Sometimes you feel as though you haven't achieved much. And then when you look back on the day, you think, oh, I did achieve a lot. And I think it's just with what you were talking about before, it's just taking that first step and one step at a time. And now you've got something that you're absolutely passionate about, and a really meaningful business that helps other people. Yeah, so you've got lots and lots of things to look forward to. You've got a meaningful business, and you've got lots of people that you love. And we all at Tuesdays on Target, we all love you too, Faizey. You're such an integral part of the
and
group.
my grandson loves you guys too.
Oh, he's like our little mascot.
He is, isn't he? He reminds me of Teddy.
Yeah. Yes,
Teddy's busy now, but yeah, he now can say Moana. He doesn't say Moana. He says Moana. He does say it actually.
Yeah, he does.
And Karen, he knows you too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Faizey, for taking a moment with me. We'll talk again soon, probably next Tuesday.
Next week, yes. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate that. And all the best to what you're doing. You do an amazing job yourself too.
Thank you, Faizey.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Take a Moment with Moana Robinson. Remember to visit her website, bestyleforlife.com.au, and book a time for a further conversation.